Ashley, and today I'm doing another Top 5 Wednesday video. Today's topic is Top 5 Favorite Angsty Romances, and I will leave the link to the Goodreads group so you can check out all the topics and the group if you're interested in doing Top 5 Wednesday yourself. So for number 5, I have The Distance Between Us by Cassie West. This is about this girl named Cayman who works in her mom's doll shop, and her mom are really struggling to get by financially, and she meets Xander, whose family is super rich, and they meet and they click very well, and they go on a series of like dares sort of, and it is just really cute. But because Cayman and Xander have completely different lives, every time those lives clash, it is super full of angst. And why I like it and why I think it's angsty is because, like I said, those lives when they clash are completely different, and it's just so interesting to see how Cayman deals with sort of not feeling ashamed of her life and trying to get past that and trying to relate to him, and also how Xander tries to relate to her and tries to show that he doesn't care about what her life is like versus what his life is like. And it's just this interesting back and forth of them having these different lives and being overly emotional a lot of times and trying to get out of their comfort zones with each other and really open up to each other like they don't usually do with other people. I just think it's really cute, but also angsty. It's a different kind of angst than I think a lot of these other books that are on my list and that are probably on other people's lists are, just because, like I said, it's not like dark angst, it's really just like emotional angst that still remains light. So that's why it's on this list for me. Number 4 is Clary and Jace from the Mortal Instruments series. This is just the most angst you can have in a relationship. I mean, you start off and you get along super well, like, you know, pretty much insta-love, let's be honest. And then the end of the world is happening and you think you're brother and sister, but you still have the hots for each other and you still love each other, but then you're not, but the end of the world is still happening, and then you guys are evil together. There's just a lot of shit going on. But the main fact that they're thinking they're siblings but still want to be together, like, does it get more angsty than that? I don't think it does, because they're fighting for each other but seemingly related, and that's just like crazy angst right there. They're pretty melodramatic. And the whole series is melodramatic. Not that that's a bad thing. I love the Mortal Instruments series. I love, you know, Clary and Jace a lot. But just being real here, it's a really melodramatic, drama-filled series. And that's what happens when you have a series about demons and angels and the end of the world. So you can't really blame it for being over the top. But ultimately, I just like these two characters together. I think that their senses of humor and stubbornness are really interesting when you put them together, and I'm really invested in the drama when I was first reading it. I just really wanted to keep reading and devouring it, and I just, you know, there's something to be said for that. Number 3 is Owen and Auburn from Confess by Colleen Hoover, which was my first Colleen Hoover book that I read early on, sort of in 2016. I think I read it in about August, but it's a new adult romance, which pretty much is a checkmark guarantee for an angsty romance, and this was definitely full of that, and I pretty much knew that going into it, again, because it was a Colleen Hoover new adult romance, but I did not know how much I was going to care about the angsty romance that was happening, and it is just full of like surprise twists with the characters and cops and family members and all of this craziness. And even Owen's artwork in and of itself is angsty because it's about confessional art, and that's just like a lot of emotion right there. But the whole thing is just like a roller coaster of emotions, and them together, they just keep being together even when they shouldn't. It's full of automatic turmoil. Like, I mean, it's just gonna happen. But honestly, that just makes it devourable, and you have to read it. I know that Colleen Hoover has problems in a lot of her books, but I think that this is one of the ones that isn't problematic, if I'm not mistaken, because the bad guy in it, you know, is the bad guy. She doesn't play off the bad guy as being good. She sees that he's a problem and writes him as a problem and nothing else. So I'm thinking this doesn't have any problems. If you think it has problems, please let me know and I'd be happy to talk about it with you. I just didn't see them through my first read, but I was totally full of emotion when I read their romance, and I guarantee you if you read it, you probably will be as well. Number 2 is Zadist and Bella from Lover Awakened, which is the 3rd book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series by J.R. Ward. And they're in here because, well, it's a paranormal romance, which again warrants a lot of angst in its romance, but Their backstories and the fact that these two characters in particular are together is really angsty. So Zadis was a former blood slave, and he was abused and he was treated horribly, and he has a lot of PTSD and has a lot of violent issues that happened because of his really abusive past. And Bella has always been really like controlled. She has this older brother and this really rich, important family who's always sheltered her. And so she feels a lot of pressure from her family, but these two can't help their attraction, and they're both vampires, so it's bound to be like really sexual and really physical, and so the whole thing is just full of pushing and pulling on each other's behalf because Zadis is trying to not feel what he feels, and Bella is trying to push him to realize that he feels what he feels. Again, just so much emotion, so much angst, and it is not a surprise that this book has the angst romance in it. And number one is number one on this list for me because I have a lot of angst over the series, and I think the characters have angst for each other too. Pretty sure that's the case, and that is Rose and Dimitri from the Vampire Academy series. One of my all-time favorite book couples ever. They are just fantastic. I love their chemistry, but they have a lot of obstacles in their way. They have a lot of drama, and they just can't quite stay together for reasons, and that just makes me angsty. It makes them angsty with each other, and I just have emotions over them every day. They're my favorites, and they make me feel things, and they feel things for each other, and like I said, all the obstacles just make me feel things even more, and I will never be over them. And that's it. Those are my top 5 favorite angsty romances. You guys should let me know what some of the angsty romances that you've read about are. I am always interested in knowing about some more romance books, and I will see you guys soon in my next video. Please feel free to subscribe if you want to be notified about my next videos, and I will see you guys soon in a new video. Happy reading!